Okay, a very happy new year 2024 to everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Shiv-Prasad Koirala. A very warm welcome to Questpoint's channel. नए वर्ष के सभी को शुभकामनाएं. I hope that you are always billable. I hope that you are always on a job. I hope that you always keep getting those increments, and I hope that your family is always happy. That's what we do at Questpoint, trying to see that how a developer can better his life by getting good jobs, by getting better jobs, right? Now, what is this video all about? This video is a non-technical video. I rarely record non-technical videos, but I thought that I should do this video. What is this video all about? This video is about how is the job looking for the ASP.NET market for 2024. It is an analysis video. So what I'll be doing is that for the ASP.NET stack, that means front end Angular React, middle layer ASP.NET, entity framework as the ORM, SQL Server as your database, Azure DevOps and Azure Kubernetes and microservices, right? For this full stack, how is the job market? So what I'm going to do is that in this video, we will go to Naukri.com, we will search for ASP.NET job profiles, and we'll try to analyze the job descriptions, and we'll try to conclude that as an ASP.NET developer, what should we do in 2024 so that we can apply in a proper way, we can get into a job in a proper way, right? So that is the goal of this video, job analysis of ASP.NET developer for the year 2024. Now, I have a couple of disclaimers out here, very important disclaimers. For this analysis, I'm going to use Naukri.com. Naukri.com, which belongs to InfoEdge, and it is one of the biggest job portals of India. So definitely Naukri.com, I don't own it. So whatever I discuss out here, it is all my personal views, right? So that is the first disclaimer, that this video is not affiliated to Naukri.com, right? And my views here are my personal views, so it should not be taken as the views of the company, right? The second point which I also want to talk here is that whenever I'm going through a job description, right, that is only for the analysis purpose, right? So whatever I talk about that job JD or I talk about that thing, right, there is nothing against the company, right? So the company has put the profile out there and I'm doing just the analysis part. So again, whatever I talk about a JD out here, it is all again my personal views. So these are two important disclaimers which I want to highlight out here, right? Okay, so with all that disclaimers now, that we have talked about, right? So let us go ahead and let us try to do the analysis for the ASP.NET job market. Let us get started. Before we move ahead, right, let us try to understand the different .NET job profiles which are available in the market. Because once we have an idea of the job profiles of .NET, we can target better, we can understand better, how we can apply for these jobs, right? The first one we can start is with the retro one. The retro one means it had web forms, it had web services. Remember that remoting and so on. I would suggest if you are in this category, please migrate yourself, right? Please try to get into new .NET. Please try to learn Angular. Please try to learn cloud. This area is not the area I would suggest someone to be there, right? The second kind of era which started was the WCF, WPF, MVC era, wherein, and also Web API, right? So this was again one more era, which was again .NET framework, but it had that WCF, WPF, Windows Workflow, and MVC5, MVC4.5, right? And the Web API. And the last one, which is now running, is the .NET Core, right? Wherein we have the front end is Angular and React, the middle layer is MVC Core, and at the back end you have EF and SQL Server, right? And also you have Web API. Now these are the three profiles, right? On the top of it, some of the job profiles are demanding to add Azure into that. So that's the fourth category. So, the basic .NET stack, MVC Core stack, Angular stack, plus Azure, plus some of them are asking also for, CI/CD, DevOps, and Kubernetes, and etc., right? So this is again the fifth one, right? So these are the 5 things, right? And around these 5 things, let us see that what kind of job descriptions are available and how we can apply for it or how we can approach for it. Okay, so what I've done is that I have opened up the favorite job portal in India, Naukri.com, and many of the developers actually use this website, to search jobs. So I opened that on my computer out here, and what I will do is I will go and I will search here for ASP.NET. Now remember, as we said, our focus is on ASP.NET Core, front-end Angular React, back-end EF, Azure, and microservices and Kubernetes. So if I search for C#, probably I will get profiles of WPF. I will get profiles of Silverlight, or I will get profiles of Xamarin and all that, right? So I don't want to focus on those things. I want to focus on the ASP.NET Core stack. Must be we can have separate videos on the other parts later on, right? So that's why what I'll do is I'll just search for ASP.NET so that we get everything around ASP.NET. So ASP.NET MVC, also that is good. ASP.NET MVC developer is also good. Why don't ASP.NET Core MVC or ASP.NET Core, that is also good, right? And I will hit search out here. Also, as we said, this analysis, will not focus on freshers, right? So what I'll do is I'll at least start with 5 years. So I'm going to go and put this bar down out here, and there it is, 5 years. So as soon as I do that, you can see now we are getting profiles, which are of 5 to 9 years, 5 to 8 years, so 3 to 8 years. So we are getting some senior profiles out here. So let us try to analyze this search. Okay, now the first thing which I see on my search out here is that, which is very, very exciting as well as very, very encouraging, is that a developer, who has 5 to 9 years of experience, or must be even 3 to 8 years of experience, right, can easily get a package of 8 to 10 lakhs. Look at the range. The range is so wide, So even if I scroll below, I can see that some of these packages are, again, I can see ranging, 5 to 15 lakhs. So you can see that it's quite a big range. So that means that, even if you have less experience, let us say 3 years or 4 years experience, and if your interview can really crack very nicely, I think you can easily make up a very good package, right? So that is the first important thing which I can analyze out here, right? So, okay, let's go ahead and open some of these job profiles. Let us analyze. So a 5 years of experience, a 5 to 10 years of experience, what kind of market it has, what kind of job profile it has. So I'm going to go and click, some of these links out here, and let us try to analyze them one by one. Okay, so let me click some of them, and we can then start analyzing. Okay, so the first job description is before us. Remember, it is 5 to 10 years, that is the range. And you can see it is a basic ASP.NET MVC, the web API, the jQuery, the HTML5. So that is one. Let us look at the second job profile. Again, here also you can see the basic .NET again, remember. ASP.NET, SQL Server, I can see there is an MVVM framework. They have written that this is an MVVM framework because, he's talking about Angular and React, right? So when you talk about Angular, Angular is an MVC, isn't it? It has a model, it has a view, it has a component. So from that perspective, you can see REST. But again, this is our simple ASP.NET Core. I don't see here any Azure or anything. So again, a normal JD, which is there. Okay, let me see this one again. Now see, in this job profile, very interesting. It is for a very big airway company out here. And you can see that it is around WPF, WCF, and little bit it is crossing to web API. Also there is .NET Core. Also there is ReactJS. Also there is CI/CD. Also there is Azure DevOps. Now this is that big one. Remember, I said the fifth category, which is asking for everything, right? So definitely, in this kind of category, what happens is, the salary ranges will also be high, right? So that is one. Again, if I go out here, again, this one also has MVC, ASP.NET Core, SDLC and all, right? Design patterns and all, okay? This one here, this one, they have not written anything as such. Some of these job descriptions are really, I don't know what they expect. They have to write down some JD, right? Again, look at it. ASP.NET, MVVM, Ajax, this is .NET Core, jQuery, right? And again, if I look at here, again, the same C# and all that, right? So from all the job profile, what goes in my mind is that if you are a 5 to 10 years of experienced person, right? The core ASP.NET Core, Angular or React, SQL Server, Entity Framework, I think these are the very important things, right? So that's what I can analyze from this, right? Now let me go ahead and let me try to just increase the number of years of experience. Let us see what happens. So I'm going to go again to Naukri.com, and this time I'll make it a little bit big. Must be we can go till 5 to 10 and above, right? And let us see what happens. So here is the first JD again for an experience which is 10 to 15 years. Now we have raised our bar higher. Remember, a number of years of experience, we have raised the bar higher out here. Okay, so let us see. So this is 10 to 14 years I can see out there. Right, again, look at it. ASP.NET Core, Csharp. They have not mentioned anything about Azure over here, right? Let me move to the next one. Now you can see over here, this is this is the cocktail job description, right? I don't know, for such kind of openings, what is the requirement? As a developer, as a .NET developer, when I look at these kind of requirements, really it is funny. WPF, ASP.NET, MVC, .NET 4.7, Git, Jira, WinForm, Web API, and then what, like SPA, jQuery, CSS, SQL Server, Cloud, Azure. You do come across such kind of job profile. We can exclude this. Remember that, I would alert to apply for such kind of job profile because they are not clear about what they want. Look at it. You just have one opening. You just have one opening for it, right? So beware of such companies, because what happens is when they are not clear what they want, and if you go into such kind of jobs, think about it, what you have to do, right? So don't just run after money, try to think. Let us go, let us move ahead. Okay, let's look at the next profile, again in the same range of 10 plus years. Again, you can see this one is basic .NET Core, but you can see there's Azure over here. There's Azure over here. Let's look at this. Again, this is basic .NET, stored procedures, the old classic MVC, entity framework. Again here, .NET, ADO.NET, SQL, unit testing, Azure, little bit Azure. You can see now, as we went, 10 and above, Azure is now, we can see Azure getting highlighted, which was not happening previously, right? Same one, WPF, this, but you can see now Docker, you can see Azure. You can see other things also, unit testing, MOQ, and so on. Now this one is a special one. You can see it's a 10 years of experience. Even the salary is higher, and it is very specifically on WPF. Remember, I talked about the classical technologies, right? Now I would suggest that when you're applying for such jobs, you should know that what you're doing. If you are in WPF today, or if you're in WCF today, or if you're in old web forms, it's a request to migrate yourself, right? It is high time. It is not only dangerous, from the career perspective, but also it can happen that after some time, you will be jobless completely. So I would suggest that please try to migrate yourself to new technologies. So let us move ahead. Again, the same ASP.NET, MVC. Here, same ASP.NET, MVC, Angular. Go ahead. React, Angular, ASP.NET, MVC, and all that. And you can see there is something good to have knowledge on NOP commerce, right? Okay, but overall I can see here we have Azure as well, right? So in this category, what I can figure out between the previous category of 5 to 10 years and 10 to plus years, 10 to 15 years, right? Azure has started coming up in this category, right? Now let me go ahead and let me go a little bit higher. 15 to 20 years. This is where, let us see what we get. Now this 10 years and above has started becoming interesting, right? So remember, we have now raised the bar higher out here. It is almost 15 years and above, right? So if you look at this, right, you will now see, one is that, yes, the basic requirement, ASP.NET, MVC, and that Azure has now come into picture, you can see. DevOps has now come into picture, you can see, right? So as soon as now I'm going towards 15 plus years, I can see that more Azure, more DevOps is coming into picture. Look at the second one. You can see CI/CD, you can see Jenkins, you can see Docker, you can see Kubernetes. Adding to that, you can see AWS, you can see Azure as well, and you can also see your old ASP.NET as well over here, right? Let us look at other ones. Here also I can see Angular, React, and yes, DevOps tools, Jenkins, Kubernetes, again you can see, right? And if I see out here, Azure DevOps, CI/CD, again we have the Csharp and basic ASP.NET. Let's move ahead. If you look at this job profile, this is again very interesting. It has just one or two words out here. It says microservice. Now, when you put that one word microservice, right, remember that many companies, they are very infatuated with microservice. They don't really know what they want. But remember, now if you have put microservice right, then everything comes into picture. ASP.NET, .NET, all that, but Docker, CQRS, event sourcing, Kubernetes, Azure cloud, right? So remember that one word out there is really very demanding, right? So in short, if I try to summarize, right, what I understand is by just doing the basic ASP.NET, a basic front end with Angular or React, entity framework, SQL server, right, you should easily land up into a good job. But as soon as your number of years of experience rises, Azure becomes more compulsory. And if you raise the bar more higher, like 15 years and above, the whole world is asked for you. They ask for DevOps, they ask for CI/CD, they ask for Jenkins, they ask for Kubernetes, they ask for Docker, they ask for microservices, right? So if you look at as we go higher on the number of years of experience, the demand rises, and it's a little bit difficult, to manage things out here. So let us try to understand that if you are a senior person. So if you are a person who is around 5 to 10 years of experience, I think you can manage things. But if you're a senior person, how do you do it, right? How to approach such kind of market? If you're a senior person, right, what you should do is, at least you should know the basics of it. For example, let's say DevOps, Azure DevOps. I can understand you don't know how to write YAML, or probably you don't have understanding of YAML variables, but at least a broader understanding is necessary. That what is a pipeline, what is a YAML, how things work, right? I can understand that you have never done microservices, but at least CQRS, what it is, where to fit, right? So I feel that, when it comes to, this senior level of job requirement, my thought would be is that at least try to learn the basics of it. So have your ASP.NET Core, your object-oriented programming, your SQL, everything, be a master in that. But then yes, you should have an idea of app service. You should have an idea of microservices pattern. You should have an idea of function apps. You should have an idea of, when I say have an idea, means at least you should be able to converse, right? So I feel that's the way you can prepare. One more important perspective I wanted to understand here is, especially around the front-end frameworks. See, we have ASP.NET MVC, and if you see, there are two big front ends which are the major players. One is the Angular, other one is React, right? So also I wanted to understand that is Angular more in demand, or is React more in demand? So let us have a look at it. So you can see here I've just selected 5 years. Now what you can do is that you can go ahead and you can select 10 years in case you are 10 years. In case you are a fresher, then accordingly you can select it. But I've just taken 5 years as the benchmark for me. So if I search Angular out here, right, and what I see out here is we have approximately 12,000 jobs, right? Let us try to see React out here, right? And if I take React, let us see what happens. So we can see we have 13,000 jobs. So really, it is not a big percentage if you ask me, right? 1,000 jobs here and there. So I would like to know from everyone that what is your perspective regarding which front end is better. Now here is my perspective, right? What I found is that yes, React has many jobs, definitely, right? But when I look at the salary structure of Angular, right, because the jobs are less, or because the developers are less in terms of numbers, right, or they are getting less in terms of numbers, I've seen that their salary is little bit higher as compared to React. This is what I understand, by meeting 2 or 3 job agencies as well as HRs. I have IT companies whom I have interviewed. They told me that it is very easy to get a React developer, right, with a MVC. But it is a little bit tough to get a good Angular developer with MVC, right? But at the same time, React has more jobs, please understand it. So the number of jobs of React are higher, but the number of jobs of Angular are little bit lower, right? So this is my perspective, but if you have some other perspective, please put down here. And I feel that at this moment, I think if you want to really be job safe, right, do both of the frameworks. It will take a little bit of hard work, but I think doing both of the frameworks will make sense. One important thing which I want to highlight here is the urgency. Nowadays, 3 months notice is a normal period. But if you can join in a month or a week, or, if you can plan your resignation properly, you can bargain very nicely. I have seen many developers, what they do is that they put down their papers, right? And then they start preparing. And as they come near to the relieving period, they are in a better position to bargain because now they can join in a week or in a month, right? So please plan your resignation accordingly. Do not just leave companies with the ego or with the anger or with some fight, right? At the end of the day, the company does not get hampered. You will get hampered as an individual. And let me know in the comment section down below, did you ever leave any company because of ego must be, or because of anger, because of fight, because you did not get a rise? And did you repent on that decision? If yes, please write down in the comments. Somebody else will get benefit for the same. One more important thing which I want to stress out here is the location. If you see on the screen, right, this is a Bangalore location out here. And in this, there is only one job and 63 people have applied. But the same kind of a job in New Delhi, I can see 115 people have applied, 116 people have applied. So sometimes what happens is many developers tell me that, okay, sir, I know microservices, I know everything, but still my salary is not incrementing, because must be you are in a location like Calcutta, or must be Punjab, or must be Jammu or Gurgaon, or some of these places, where the number of MNCs are less and the local companies, do not pay such kind of high salaries. So also that one point you have to keep in mind. Okay, guys, analysis brings paralysis, right? So let me stop all this analysis out here and let us try to summarize, what we have discussed till now, right? So let me start with the first point. The first point which I found here very interesting while we were going through the JDs is that there is a huge salary range. So if let's say if you have 5 to 10 years of experience, your salary ranges, the company were ready to offer were from 8 to 15 lakhs, right? So that means that if you really give your interview well, you should do very well, right? The second thing which I understood out here is that if you know your fundamental ASP.NET very well, fundamental means the ASP.NET Core, front-end Angular, React, an entity framework, and SQL Server, I think you are well set. Till 5 to 10 years, till 10 years, I think that you shouldn't have a problem of jobs, you shouldn't have problem of hopping and so on, right? But as I rose my, when I put my little bit of bar higher, I found that if you do basic.NET, the basic.NET stack plus Azure, it will make things comfortable, right? So 10 to 15 years, JDs were asking for all the basics, what we need for a stack plus Azure. When we raise the bar higher, 15 years and above, this is where the problem starts. Remember, when you become old, the problem starts, right? This is where the expectations have become huge. So you should know the fundamentals, you should know the Azure, you should know also others. Means what? Docker, microservices, Kubernetes, DevOps, ting, and all that, right? So I think, seniors, what you need to do is that you need to prepare well. See, at the end of the day, who will know so many technologies, right? So that's why we encourage everyone to watch our interview question videos. See, many people would think that why is this Shiv recording interview question videos? Is it cheap? But think about the market demand. Look at the market demand. They are asking for Angular, they are asking for React, they are asking for Azure, they are asking for ASP.NET Core. They will ask you dependency injection. Even a senior is asked object-oriented programming. Docker, microservices, Kubernetes, DevOps. Where are we going, guys, right? How are we going to practice? How are we going to justify ourselves, for such kind of job demand? So what you do in this case is that prepare. And how do you prepare? Interview questions. Remember, at the end of the day, interview question does not guarantee you a job, right? But if you have an experience, interview question will help you to revise fast, right? The fifth important point which I understood is the concept of semi-cities. So in case you are from Indore, or in case you are from Jammu or Punjab or Calcutta, then remember that for one vacancy, many people can apply as compared to Bangalore or Pune, right? The sixth thing, which this is just my suggestion, avoid cocktail job descriptions. Job description which says HTML, C++, Azure, Docker. What is this? What is the requirement? Can you be more specific, right? So if you are getting such kind of job requirements, which are going right away from the legacy web form to the MVC core, there is a problem then, what they are asking, right? The next thing, which I would advise, the seventh part, which I would advise is that please avoid old technologies, legacy technologies, retro technologies, right? Like ASP.NET Web Forms, WCF, WPF. Avoid it. It will kill your career eventually, right? And the final thing, which I gave you a perspective about, Angular and React, right? So Angular and React, when we did a search, right, we found that Angular jobs are little less the React jobs are high in number, but then whatever Angular jobs are out there, their salary structure is a little higher as compared to React, right? And one more important thing which I discussed, the ninth point which I discussed out there is that, try to see that you can try, if you want to bargain very well, try to see that you have lesser joining period. In other words, like, let us say if you have a 3 months of notice, put down the 3 months of notice and try to join a company within a week or a month. You will find that you have more bargaining power, because HRs are always in a hurry. HRs are always in a tight situation to get good developers, right? And so that was all my conclusion out here. Now remember that, whatever analysis I did, by looking at the job descriptions, what were before me. I'm very sure that you guys know much better than me. You are in the market out there, right? So if you have something very important to share around ASP.NET, some important trick or tip or some important analysis, which you think that, okay, we did this and that's why we landed into a good job, then please let me know in the comments below. Somebody will benefit from the same. And second, guys, I take a lot of hard work to create these videos. You can see for this video, we have to go and see the JDs, we have to analyze it, we have to put the everything, we have to put the analysis before you. So if you really like, what I'm doing, that please go and hit a like button out there. Please comment that, yes, Shiv, you are doing a good thing. Please continue, right? So I'm keeping a target for this video that if you can give me in this new year for this video, if you can give me just 500 likes, I would really be obliged and grateful for the same, right? And the last important point, guys, down below in the comment section, all my interview question videos are there. Remember, a prepared .NET developer or a prepared developer has higher chance of getting a job than a unprepared superhero. You can be a superhero in a company, but when it comes to interviews, right, little bit of preparation is needed, right? So I wish everyone a very, very happy 2024. May God Saraswati, may God Lakshmi bless you, with money, with knowledge, right? And I hope that you always are billable and you are always on a job, right? And I'm hoping that this 2024 again brings up more job opportunities by looking at machine learning, artificial intelligence, which are coming in. Azure is picking up. .NET is going great. 7, 8, all new versions are coming up. Angular, React are doing very well, right? So I feel that this stack is still doing very good, right? So happy learning, happy job hunting, and wish you a very, very happy 2024. Thank you.